Well, obviously, two stories to tonight's game. You know, I guess the bad news or what happened negatively is fairly obvious. Anytime you have 27 turnovers and you're a good team or playing at home, it's unacceptable. It's like, I guess the analogy would almost be a football game with 5 or 6. But having said that, to be able to win and have those turnovers, now that's a completely different story. And the focus for me after the game is you're going to play about 35 games. Not all of them are going to be fair. You know, once in a while, just the free throw doesn't go in. Once in a while, you have foul trouble. Sometimes you just, for whatever reason, stymied for a long period of time offensively, and then you try to fight to get out of it. So when you have those moments, what you hope is that you can learn and grow from them, but still win. And that to me, is the gratifying thing about tonight. Everybody focuses on our freshmen and our new talent, and we love those guys. They've already shown what they can do. But when you play against the zone like Southern Miss and the game gets like it was, and by the way, the physicality on the glass down the other end, we went with our oldest, most experienced players. And as you guys have asked me a lot of questions about this year's team, the gift isn't just our size or our youthful talent. It's also a lot of different players who've been through a lot. Kevin Parham, all the things that he's been through, was prepared for tonight, and I was so happy to see him play well. A year ago, Solomon Hill, they were daring him to shoot. There were a couple teams that played their man in the middle of the lane and allowed him to shoot. If he wanted to shoot 12 threes, he could have. All of his hard work throughout his career, but in particular this summer, you know, when he shot that ball in front of the bench, I thought it was the biggest shot of the game. I knew it was going in. And those guys have been through a lot. They were ready to win this game. Nick Johnson, a year ago, would never have been able to fight through because he was a freshman, but he's so much more mature, and although he had 6 turnovers, I don't think he was close who the best player on the court was tonight. It was him. Mark Lyons, it wasn't his night. He stayed. He kept fighting. We won without his night being there. So I guess as I try to bring to life how I feel, there's some real bad things, and we'll grow from it. But when you go through a season like we're going through, it's awfully nice to be able to win the game when you have this feeling that we have.
Was there zone?
Players said that they thought this was a team that would turn the ball for a little bit tonight. Did you anticipate, though, that it would be to that extent?
No. You know, it's interesting. Up until tonight, they have pressed every possession of their season and dropped zone. Tonight, they elected not to, and I thought their defense was better. It didn't give you those easier opportunities. Now, we made a halftime adjustment with our offense, and we sent a guy to the corner, a little bit more movement, and that really helped us. I also take the blame that I wish we'd have done it from the onset. But once in a while, like especially early in the season, you're not only trying to figure out the other team's zone, but you're trying to figure out your own team, like who can do what, who's comfortable where. And, you know, I like to say we have everything figured out, but we don't. When I think we really hit all cylinders, and you saw it really for about a 10-minute stretch in the second half, Kevin Parham's our best player in the middle of the zone. We put him there. We had more movement along the baseline, and I thought we got more drives and better shots. And so I thought the things we talked about at halftime and the way we chose to play offense in the second half really gave us a better shot. And some of our turnovers, I mean, I like to credit Southern Miss, but they're, you know, I mean, we just got into such a rut of bad passes, catching, dribbling, and thank goodness they turned the ball over as well.
Was it an unconventional zone? What kind of zone was it?
Yeah, very much so. You know, they kind of morph into a different shape as you're in shape. You know, it's not a matchup zone, but they have a real identity with how they do it. If you try to really have a guy in the high post, they almost guard him man to man. You know, if you try to send the cutter through, they start to adjust towards that cutter through. But our second half offense was much better for our team. We had a much more movement. We had great action along the baseline, and our players made good plays. And then at times, with that same action, we had some unforced errors as well, catching, passing. But I'm sure glad that we were able to win. I think it's a great lesson for our freshmen. It was a man's game tonight. You know, loose ball, get out of my way. And they have to learn that 6'5", 6'6" guys in this college game who are tough-minded can do major damage on the glass, and they're hard to play against. So we learned some lessons there that I know that eventually you're gonna learn. We learned some tonight with Southern Miss.
Sometimes you, in the last 5 games, you guys have won pretty handily. This is a nice learn, post-game, where you,
Yeah.
where you learn from this.
Yeah, and I don't really think, even though we had turnovers, I don't think we ever played tight or played to lose in the second half. I thought we played with a lot more confidence. It's just, we just turned the ball over like crazy. In the first half, we had that deer in the headlights look of, they're not supposed to play this way defensively, and it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right to Caleb, and it didn't feel right in high post. And they had a great way of offensive rebounding against our bigger guys. I mean, you look, they had 15 offensive rebounds. What's the thing we've done the best this season? Rebound. Although we had 13 and we ended up winning by 7, their 15 offensive rebounds really kept them in the game and had them the lead for a long period of time.